Today we're in Leven, and it's kind of hard to imagine now, if we think about it, looking at this big expanse of beach, that in the Victorian age, this was a thriving sort of like a seaside holiday area for people who were coming in from Glasgow from the west and from over there in Edinburgh. There used to be a main train station here, and thousands of people flocked here for their seaside holidays. And then in 1969, the same year that I was born, the railway station eventually closed, and Leven's the quiet seaside town that we find today. So let's see what we can dig up from the past. There's a lot of shells here.
Yep, and I just found a bit of blue. Nice wee bit of blue.
So already we're just here, and yeah, that's quite cool. There's no markings, but you can see the ridges.
Oh, there's even some pottery.
Hang on, I'll come see. Nicole's found some pottery.
It's a bit of brown sponge there. Dig it up and see if
Just a second. There we go, now I'm in focus. Okay, let's take it out.
It's not much bigger, but I can see it's got a pattern on it.
This camera will take its time to focus. There we go.
I found a bit of a shell, and it's just a tiny scallop, but a piece of a scallop shell, like a wing.
Nicole's just found something quite special.
I think it's one of the ginger beer bottle stoppers, but it's kind of half buried. I think that's what it is.
Okay, do you want to dig it out?
That's what it is. I love these things.
Okay, let's clean that up a wee bit and have a look. Okay, so
you see where the metal bits went?
Yeah.
The swing top.
That's very cool.
One for my collection.
It's really strange today. The beach is completely covered in this seaweed. It's not normally like this. And in fact, just a few, maybe 50 or so meters down the beach, all this clears away.
But it's big. It's the kind of stuff we find here a lot on this beach. Old bottle pieces, really thick.
Lots of the seashells.
Must be feeding the seagulls. It's a Victorian jam jar bottom. And
are there any markings on that one?
No, not on this one.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, they're usually down here.
Yeah.
Big chunky pieces of bottle bottoms. Seafoam and white. That's strange. There's a kiln still here.
You don't see them here.
Not at
these
this
are
beach,
the kind of things. Yeah, these are the kind of things that we would have seen in Kirkcaldy. We saw a lot of these. We see them floating around in the stream in Kirkcaldy. We see them strewn across the beach, but we don't see them here.
Yeah.
So that's unusual.
Yeah, and sea glass and pottery doesn't really travel very much or very far.
That's very cool. And unusual.
It is.
I think we've got a little bit of a jar here. It's certainly got some writing on it. I'm not sure what it could be from.
Only walked past that.
Yeah, you just walked right past it.
See, it just goes to show you can walk behind people.
You need two sets of eyes.
Yeah, let's see what it says. AS?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, well, somebody with those initials, get in touch.
It belongs to somebody. There's some wee shells
They're really
there as well.
cute little ones. And there are quite a few people who make pictures with shells.
Yeah.
And I found this bit of blue. It's still really shiny.
We're going out of focus. Just say, oh, there we go.
It's a bit shiny,
It is
but
a bit shiny. It's a good colour.
Don't really leave blue at the beach, so we'll take that.
Yeah.
Maybe make a wind chime or something. Nice red pattern.
All right.
Does it have a face on it?
I don't know how far I can zoom in on this. Let's see.
Looks like
Oh, it really does, doesn't it?
face there, like a woman in profile.
Yeah,
Maybe
it might
it's just
be.
me.
Take a closer look at that later. Always think these little pieces of shell are blue glass, but alas, no. Just a piece of shell.
So much more glass here.
Sorry?
White glass
Yeah,
here.
a lot of white glass.
Come here, come here.
What you got?
It's sitting there. You see
You're
it?
gonna have to point. I'm looking down the camera.
Can you see it?
No.
Okay, it's in between the stringy bits. I'll point.
Ah, wow.
There.
Okay. So you found your marble.
Yep. Yeah, yeah, and a nice one.
That's a really nice blue.
It looks like a cod marble. The same kind that I'm wearing, but smaller. Looks a little smaller.
You hold it against the one you're wearing?
Mm-hmm. Somewhat smaller.
Yeah, quite a bit smaller.
Mm-hmm. You see it's frosted. This one I've been wearing a lot, so it's got a satin finish.
Yeah. Okay, that's very cool.
Always hope to find a bead, a marble, or a stopper. So today we found a stopper and a marble.
Oh, that's pretty good going.
No bead though.
Yeah, well, let's see. We've got a
Fingers
couple of minutes yet.
Whenever I find a cod marble at the beach, I always think of the Victorians with their kind of big frilly hats and their dresses, and I imagine them having a picnic at the beach, drinking lemonade out of a bottle, and the bottle was called a cod bottle. Now this bottle was the first bottle to ever hold carbonated drinks in, so I can imagine them being at the beach and the kids maybe drinking a bit of the soda, and then smashing the bottle just to get into the marble, and they play at the beach, and then they probably lose the marble, and that's how we now, over 100 years later, we can find marbles at the beach. Is it blue?
It is blue. It's shiny though. It's just a baby blue colour.
That's nice. Okay. Got that brick.
It's very pale blue, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Matches this little bit of pottery.
Just having trouble with the focus on this camera. There we go. That seems to work. Grand. I found this bottleneck.
Ah.
It's kind of, I don't know if it's old, it's very shiny. I just found it down the beach and just brought it up here. Dropped it when I saw the blue piece. There's a little shell living inside there. I don't think there's anything in there though.
Well, that's got a lot of markings.
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I don't know what that
Strange.
is.
Oh, maybe somebody can tell us.
You know, it could be part of electric pylon or something like that as well, like an insulation thing.
Bottles were really
Yeah, but it's so many
Long
ridges on there that I can't work out what.
unusual.
If anybody knows what that is, put it in the comments, please. Just a second, Nicole's found a huge shell.
There you go.
What kind of shell is that then?
It's an oyster shell.
You think so?
I think so.
Flip it. Let's have a look at. Oh wow, that's thick, isn't it? That's very heavy.
Yeah.
That's well cool.
Yeah.
And that's been roaming around like that for some time. You can see because of the build-up
Yeah.
here.
It's on the other side as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there hasn't been an oyster in there for a long time, or whatever it was that was in
No.
there. Hasn't lived there for a long time.
No, we'll take this one.
Cool.
Found quite a few shells today.
Yeah. If we can say one thing about this beach, it is very shelly.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's done something ornamental to show off these razor clams that I was talking about earlier on. As you can see, these are pretty huge, they're pretty big. That's my hand, or if Nicole can put her hand in front of that. Yeah, that's longer than her hand because it's now planted into the ground as well. We have another wee one alongside that.
You can see them. I'll take this one out and see how
And you can put it back.
fast it goes. See
Right,
it?
so that's
Really
that's
big.
the size of the razor clams that we get to enjoy here in Scotland.
So that's two pieces, and this one from over here.
There's also a bottleneck just shy of
Oh,
there
yeah.
you go.
There we are.
That's
This one's really
just
nicely frosted. I think I'll take this one here.
Let's have a look. Yeah, that's really cute. That's a nice piece. I like the kind of shapes of the bottlenecks.
Mm-hmm.
Always
Looks
tell
like
me
there's
from
a
bottlenecks.
pattern here. I've got these here.
I just saw this huge piece of flint. It doesn't look like it's been worked or anything. There's this little piece beside it, but what I didn't notice as I was kicking this piece of flint around, rather this piece of flint around, was this piece of pottery that's just tucked in underneath that stone. A nice piece of blue pottery.
Turn it around, looks like a sail. It's from the blue willow pattern, I think, and I think this is the bird, and that's one of the wings.
Oh, two pieces. I thought I had just seen the piece of pottery, but there's a piece of glass right beside it as well. So I think that's us about done at the beach today. We found some really nice things, some really cool things, and Nicole managed to find a marble. One of the other things you might have noticed is that I mentioned shells, maybe once or twice, maybe 30 or 40 times, I'm not quite sure. But there's a reason that I did that, and that's because there's a special place just across the road there that we're about to have a look at. It's called the Buckie Hoose. So this outside wall is more or less all that remains of Leven's famous Buckie Hoose. I think this is still worth coming along to see if you find yourself in Leven.
These two bits are like
That's a float,
door.
yeah.
Yeah, a float, yeah. So that was probably a whole float at some point.
It's been smashed. You can see we have a row of conch shells here.
And you can see that down there, they used the bottom bits of the scallop shell, and this is the top bit.
Once we get back to the house, we're going to show you some postcards from my dad's collection. And we'll see how this used to look in its heyday.
Oh, there's one,
Oh, well, lots of
one there
crockery
and one
there,
there
so.
with a broken head.
Okay.
I don't know if I can
This-
take a picture
this
of that,
chap.
maybe.
And lots of little pieces of figurines.
There's a little arm here. Arm.
So we're back in the house now from Leven. We got here a couple of hours ago, and Nicole had a look through my dad's old letters and his collection of postcards. And we found this postcard that was sent to my grandmother in 1958. And it's a postcard of the Buckie House when it was in its heyday. So let's take a closer look at that just now. It was sent from our cousin Jean, who was visiting Leven on holiday. She writes, "I hope you're keeping fine. Wish you were here. It's a very nice place. We're going to Largo now, so cheerio for now." So Largo, as you remember, is just up the road. We were there in our last video. Leven resident William Bissett began constructing the Buckie House, or the Shell House, in 1920. He started to decorate his house and garden with seashells that he'd found from the beach that we were at earlier. He added a menagerie, including monkeys and other small animals, before opening the attraction in 1927. By 1930, around 30,000 Georgian tourists were visiting the site each year. William's son James joined his father, and he added a shell-covered bust to the site. The Buckie Hoose continued to be a popular tourist attraction in Leven throughout the 1950s and 60s. In 1978, following the death of James Bissett, the site was transformed. The old shell ornaments were stripped out and a modern bungalow was built on the location. Since then, the walls that you saw earlier, in addition to a few other decorated surfaces, are all that remain of Leven's Buckie Hoose. And I think if you find yourself in the Leven area, it's well worth getting along to the Seagate for a look at what remains of a once amazing Georgian seaside tourist attraction. We hope you've enjoyed our look at Leven and our look at the Buckie House, and we hope to see you next week. Please subscribe to the channel, comment and like. Thank you.